Today, I lose a car. And when I say lose a car, I mean sell one on.
Hello? Calling me? Yeah, man. Good let me out today. No can do.
Mike's here. He's come to buy Kurt. There's Kurt and there's Mike. So let's have a look around the car before we go, Mike, shall we?
Yeah, let's have a look at it, yeah. Look, a couple of rust spots, a bit of dent. You know, it's screaming, put me in a film. Put me on a TV drama. That's what the car needs, you know, and the stance on it, it's all ready for filming, surely. So I'll tell you what I can say, is Monty's ill.
Oh, what's up with Monty?
He's smoking too many cigarettes and smoking so much. He's ill. He's got to go to a heart specialist. His internal, the core of him is very damaged. So it's either, you know, he's on a life support machine at the moment, you know, and I don't know whether to switch the machine off.
Sorry, who's Monty again?
Yeah, he's my Maestro van. You like the way it sounds?
Now that lunatic's gone back off to South Wales, I need to get on and do some important jobs. The first one is mending my phone case. Yes, the phone is the thing you don't see. You see everything else except for the phone. Unless I use a mirror like that for you to be able to see what's going on. Incidentally, I've got to send this mirror off as well. Whilst watching some of my videos, you may have noticed like dangly bits in the way. Yeah, you see? Can you see? See that dangly bit there? Sometimes they get in the way. That's part of my phone case. And there is my phone case, the protective phone case that helps my phone not get broken sometimes. And as you can see, it's not any good. In fact, I've had people remark at me, why have I still got this? Why haven't you chucked it away? Why don't you just get a new one? Well, I don't tend to like chucking things away. And besides that, I have the power to fix things. So I'm going to fix this with gaffer tape. There we go. As good as new. Probably better than new. And just as pretty. And now, after all that excitement, it's time to do something rather dull with transit face. That's where the battery lives. But this battery's decided not to work. How compliant it is. How helpful. How useful is that? It's not useful, is it? It's rather irritating. It's rather annoying. I just wanted to move my truck then. Battery's flat. Thing won't start. I had a full charge the other day. Had a good run. Yeah. So, will this one next to it be too big to fit in the hole? I reckon it probably will be. It's time to do something else now. So let me show you something. You know this car as Project Alfie. That's because Alfie is this car's name. But just look how dirty the poor thing is. But this time's terrible for dirty cars. The amount of muck and salt on the road everywhere. And this colour is particularly excellent at showing it all up. That only works on the headlamps. I'm going to have to wash the whole thing. On Alfie, the one thing I've never done is the proper cleaning in between the doors. I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but I'm about to do. You get all this grease, well, the grease on there, and then the dirt on top of it builds up and becomes an unsightly mess. So I'm putting on lots of really good heavy duty degreaser stuff, and then when it's all actually removed, I just put a bit more lithium grease on the hinges. More degreaser, more agitating with the brush, more degreaser, and again, repeat, and again, and again, and eventually it starts to look a bit better. A long way from being perfect yet, but that's me. So now it's time for another episode of Dirty, Clean, Dirty, Clean, and Dirty, Dirty, Clean, the sun's coming out, how lovely. Yes, we get a better view of this car now with a bit of sunlight on it, but it is only a bit and not a lot, unfortunately. Now you may think that this car looks rather nice, but in all honesty there's lots of small scratches I'd like to take care of. I think it has to be said that Alfie, one of the nicest cars I've ever driven. Not the nicest necessarily, but as good as any of them. George was a very nice car, the 600, but the driving characteristics of the 600 are not quite as good as the 45, let's say that. The R8s are very good, but this one feels a bit more planted. My ZS that I had last year, definitely a very nice car to drive, very planted. But the 45 just has a bit more class. In fact, it has a lot more class. And an old one like this on a W reg, it just looks kind of proper classic, even though it's not really old enough to be. And even though there's plenty of its siblings knocking about, but maybe just a few years newer and a lot more scrappy looking. Doesn't mean I'm going to keep it though. It just means it's time to possibly put it up for sale once I do a few detailing jobs. Currently, I've done 784 miles in this car without any issues whatsoever. So I don't think it's got a problem. You know, 784 miles, that's a long way, isn't it? When people say, oh, I trust this car to get me to Scotland and back, but you mean you could do that, couldn't you? You could go to Spain in this car, hopefully back as well. So, soon enough, it's going to happen, isn't it? This car's going to go up for sale. Mike, you're a fuck case.